Hello, students. Hi, how are you? I'm okay. I'm doing okay today. I want to show you something that I think you'll enjoy. You see, when I was a young man, boy, that was a long time ago. When I was a young man, there was a band, a musical band, a pop musical band called the Beatles. And the Beatles were quite famous. And one of the things that they did was they made a big movie that went with a big album that it was a lot of stuff, but it was called The Yellow Submarine. So, join me today when you and I will make the Yellow Submarine, okay? All right, hold on. Here we go. That's me being a submarine. Well, a lot of things about this. Probably the first thing that I think is funny about this submarine that we're going to make is that the front part of it, and when you look at a lot of ships and boats and submarines, it's kind of true, they kind of look like they've got a nose on them. So this first part, and another thing I want to say too is you want to try to fill your paper. I'm going to try to make the submarine about from here to here, from the beginning to the end. You don't want it to be like, you want to fill your paper, okay? So I'm going to start by coming down here and just making this sort of, and then it kind of is round like a nose. I'll make it as smooth as I can. But it kind of looks like some person's nose. And to make it more interesting, we'll come out a little bit more. Because people have those sort of holes that they breathe through in their nose called a nostril. And strangely enough, the front of a ship, or in some cases a submarine, has a hole there too that the anchor will fall through. So it kind of makes it look like it's got a nose, right? So I've got the front of my submarine with a nostril, as it were. And I'm going to put this little half circle in there to make it kind of look like it's going inside. Can you see it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, it kind of goes down like that. That's sort of the bottom of the submarine. And we go back up to the top, and it has kind of a little bump here. Not a big bump, just a little bump. So there's the front of my submarine. And after it goes up, it comes and kind of really, really goes up then. Kind of up like that. Sort of a curved line. Yeah. Kind of like that. Oh my. This is looking pretty interesting, I think. Who knows what's going to happen next? So as it goes up, it kind of makes this thing. This thing is called a conning tower up here on top. That's where everybody goes in and out of the submarine. So we're going to kind of do a number like that. And then it kind of comes back down like that. We'll stop there for a second because we're going to put a rail on top. And the rail's pretty easy. We're just going to go like that. And after we make it, we'll make sort of 4 upside down U's. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's kind of the rail that they're holding on to. And above that, we have these things called periscopes. Because you see, when you're underwater, you have to be able to look out from the water on top. And usually, a submarine only has one. But they kind of make them look a little like flower petals. Well, I shouldn't say petals, but stamen, I guess is the right word, the one that comes out of the front as flower. And this particular submarine has 4 of them. Now you notice we have 4 of these, and you're going to notice 4 coming up over and over and over again, because how many beetles were there? That's right, there were 4 beetles. So we're going to have 4 periscopes. And they're all kind of turned different directions. So you want to be able to see all kinds of things. This one is the tallest one here. Kind of goes this way. And then this one, which is funny, is because it's looking at you. It's kind of the closest one. So this periscope is watching you. It's like, I see you. Yeah, so now it has periscopes. Now here, and I've never been quite sure if this is sort of a windshield or sort of a hatch, but it kind of has this kind of shape like that. Yeah, like that. Pretty cool. Now, this line comes down just a little lower, about there. And it goes straight back, like so. And then it kind of makes an angle like that. It gets about to here. And you'll kind of notice it sort of starts to look like a fish. It kind of has a fish look to it, right? But we're going to make another hatch right here. And a hatch is just kind of like the trunk on your mom's car. Comes down until it gets to about here and comes back out. And we can kind of stop right there for a minute because we need to put this guy in. This is where the rudder goes. That's a rudder, right? Well, it's not yet. It will be. But the interesting thing about the rudder on the yellow submarine is it looks a little like a fishtail. Now, I'm going to make, these are sort of these little hinges that hold the rudder. We got to make those. So there'll be sort of a little space in there. But yeah, it kind of does this number like a fishtail. Yeah, that's how they're going to steer when they're going through the water. That's pretty cool, huh? So it kind of comes down a little bit from there. And it makes, this is sort of where the little propeller is. And this is how they are able to go. They have their ability to move with this sort of propeller blade. And it's not so hard to draw. Like that. Then it comes down some more. Down some more. And over. And back up. I'll smooth that line just a little bit. So, there are 2 more hatches. One hatch is here. And one hatch is here. So if you were going to store some things or put some things in or on your submarine, you put them inside these hatches. Okay? And strangely enough, we're very close to being done. Although we need to add a few more things. The first thing we need to add is a stripe. Now this stripe is pretty interesting because it's going to start here and it's going to come down. It's going to be kind of straight for a while. Then it's going to down again and go straight across until you get about here. And then it just curls up to the top like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now that I've done that one, I'm going to double it. I'm going to make the same line again. Only when I get here, I'm going to go down this way. Oh, yeah. And then, now there's our stripe that we have. And we really only have 2 things left to finish. So, the first thing is there are 2 sets of portholes. And portholes are like windows. And to make these, we're going to make them very carefully. We're going to make 4 circles here. Why 4? Because there were 4 beetles. John and Paul, Ringo and George. And so you just make these rings around these portholes. And now all 4 of the beetles will be able to look out of the bottom floor. This is the bottom floor, floor 1. And then you go up a floor, and there's 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look at some of the old pictures of the yellow submarine, you can even see all 4 of the beetles staring outside and looking in. They're looking out at you. You can see all 4 of the beetles looking. Yeah, like that. So, there's the windows. We only have one thing left. There is a decoration that goes here that looks something like a flower, and it looks something like a rainbow. So let's start by making a straight line. Like that. That's not hard. And then we'll make 1 upside down U, and then 2 upside down U's, and then a 3rd upside down U, making kind of a rainbow. Now we're going to make some, it's kind of like flower petals. We're going to do that, and 1 here. And then 1 here, and 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, and sort of fill in these spaces. And then we're ready to color. Huh? Look at that. It's the yellow submarine. Well, it's not yellow yet. It's the white submarine right now, but it's going to be yellow in a minute. I promise. I'm so excited. Are you? Are you ready? Let's color. I'm back. I'm back. Let's color the yellow submarine, shall we? I'm going to be honest with you. There's all kinds of colors of yellow. And sometimes we don't have access to every single one. So today, I'm going to color the yellow submarine yellow. Yes, I am. But I'm going to have a little bit of freedom in how I color the rest of it. Okay? So just kind of, you know, if you look at the picture of the yellow submarine and you're saying, he didn't color it exactly like the Beatles did, Yeah, I know, but I think you'll still find it's going to be pretty close, okay? So, I'm going to start out with this red. Oh, that's a pretty red, isn't it? I'm going to put these other here for you. And the first thing I'm going to color in are going to be these wonderful periscopes. The lenses in the periscopes are red. So I'm going to color those in. And the next thing I'm going to color in, and I'm going to try really hard not to hurry through this. I'm going to leave some white spaces in here. I don't want to do that. I want it to be solid, beautiful color. Now this stripe is also red. So I'm going to color the stripe in very beautifully. Because this is something I want to be proud of, right? If you really take the time to look around and find the yellow submarine, there's a whole movie. It's like a big, long animation. And it's a magical journey where the Beatles go and they sort of save the world. Maybe I should say save the world. They save the world by fighting someone called the Blue Meanies. And they do it with music. So that's an interesting thing. Anyway, you may have heard the song before. It kind of goes, we all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. It's very catchy. Once you get it in your head, you can't get rid of it for a while. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to color this red stripe a while. Maybe we'll color something yellow in a minute. I'm going to color the hatches pink. I don't think the Beatles really color their hatches pink, but I kind of like pink on the hatches. So that's cool. There's another kind of cool song in the album. The album, by the way, is called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And there's another album. I think the song is on that album. It kind of goes, I want to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. So that's a pretty funny song. A little silly, actually. Anyway, I'm going to color all my hatches pink. Just like that. Wow. It's coming along. Look at that. I think I'm going to have to add a new color next. I colored in my windows. See them? And look at the rainbow flower. Wow! It's starting to turn yellow. See? See the yellow? Yellow, 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 yellow. Okay. Well, let's try some more. Maybe I can find a different yellow. Maybe. I'm going to look. We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. Yellow and orange with pink hatches. We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. And sea of green in our yellow submarine. Submarine! And just like that, we now have the yellow submarine. Ha! 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 Look at it. It's the yellow submarine. So, does that mean that I couldn't make some seaweed down here and an octopus there? Does that mean I couldn't have all kinds of strange fish swimming around? Or how about some bubbles? I could make bubbles too. Yes, I could. I can make the area around it a beautiful blue or green to show that it's swimming through the ocean. I could do all kinds of things to make this even better. But right now, I have a Beatles yellow submarine. And I bet you've got one too. So, kids, it's been fun. I've looked forward to this one. So, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.